And I just love the competitiveness. I love to compete with everybody else, and I love a good competition with everybody else.
Sports develop a student in many ways, but I believe the four main factors that affect the most are students' grades, their health, the quality of life lessons they learn, and the connection they gain with others. The San Jose Unified School District requires a minimum of a 2.0 GPA in order to do sports. Certain schools, for example San Jose High School, increased the required GPA to 2.15 as well as not failing any classes. 2.15 may not seem like a big increase, but it could be the difference between a D and a C or a B to an A. This requirement can be a motivation for students to keep their grades up so they can participate in sports. In a small school-wide survey, 44% of students who did sports improved their grades so they can participate. After the season was over, it dropped down again.
The two sports I did was basketball and volleyball. After basketball season, I went from a straight A to getting 2 B+ in chemistry and pre-cal. I think that my grade went down because I didn't have the motivation to keep my grades up, and I became lazy after sports. And I usually do my homework around 7 or 8 because that's when I get home from games. And now that I come home at like 3 or 4, I start being lazy and not do homework.
It's challenging having both IB and full IB and doing sports. So you have to learn how to manage your time, or you're gonna fail in either one. I usually make schedules, try to figure out homework, try to prioritize which is important, and finish that after practice, and try to finish it in an efficient manner that I get enough sleep to allow me to do well in school, and as well as doing sports to recuperate injuries and such.
On the college level of sports, athletes are required to achieve even higher standards if they want to participate in sports. Within the college sports system, there are 3 divisions, or rankings, that each college is in. These particular divisions have their own requirements for their student athletes. There are more requirements an athlete must achieve if they want to play in college sports. For example, student athletes need to achieve a specific SAT or ACT score, be a high school graduate, and have at least a 2.0 GPA, as well as taking multiple core classes. Colleges are increasing the difficulty of their requirements in order to push their students to do better. Currently, the GPA requirement for Division 1 is 2.0. In the near future, they have said that they will increase this requirement to 2.3. Sports can motivate a student to do better in school because if they don't have grades, they can't play. Howell Washler conducted a research where it was proven that short spans of physical activity, like sports, will increase a person's attention span. This will definitely help a student in school.
My number one priority is my education, and then comes sports. So before I actually do tennis or cross country, I try to finish all my schoolwork, anything that I have to do for school, any projects, any tests, and then I start thinking about sports. I always prioritize my education over sports because I feel like it'll make my future better.
When I was doing sports, my grades were much better, and I had straight A's. Right when I stopped sports, like wrestling, right when I stopped wrestling, my grades just went, and it basically affected me a lot. Then I had to bring it back up, and yeah.
Well, you know, being in sports and being in shape and pretty much competing and wanting to be in a good shape so you can be more competitive, it feels good. Like your body feels better. You're able to think. You know, you're more alive. I would say, you know, you're happier sometimes, you could say, because first of all, you have a lot of self-confidence that you're in great shape and you feel good. And you overall like I'm more focused at school, but also sometimes the injuries when it comes in, like any injuries you get, sometimes it does put you down. But overall though, your health is better. You feel better about yourself.
Before sports, I was actually I never had discipline with what I eat. I used to eat a lot of junk food, and I had no discipline whatsoever until I started joining sports. My first sport was last year. I lost a lot of weight, and I started gaining more discipline and responsibility. When I came this year, mostly wrestling, I learned a lot of discipline. I dieted and I lost a lot of weight, and I grew a lot of muscle, and it helped me health-wise too.
By joining into sports, I was able to increase my mental and physical capabilities like by far. So a couple of years ago, I looked completely different. I was a lot chubbier and I weighed almost the same as I do right now. But in the past couple of years when I joined sports, two things happened. First of all, I became much more physically fit. Second of all, I was able to improve in my school events, and I was able to partake in school activities that I was too shy to join in. And even more than that, my grades went up because I felt more confidence. I felt more like a straight A student. I felt like a student that can do good and just prosper in all possible fields.
I think sports prepare me for the future, just how it prepares me for going to college, because I get that competitive in me. I want to be better than everybody else.
I spent a lot of time really focused at practice, being that coachable athlete, listening to my coaches, showing up before practice to work on skills and drills and conditioning, staying late if I needed to, and always asking my coaches, what do I need to do to get better?
Get to a level where we start seeing improvement, and we start seeing how the things that the dedication we put into it and the hard work we put into something pays off. Just the feeling that we're doing something to the best of our ability. Win or lose, it doesn't matter, but when we know we're doing our best and we put a lot into it and we see our improvement, I think there's something that draws us back to that.
Okay.
Sports has changed me a great deal because I started sports in 7th grade, and before that I was just like a little chubby kid that like always stayed inside and play video games. He wouldn't listen, and like that was the old me. But just entering sports, I've become hardworking, I've become a leader, and I've learned how to communicate, because you need to on the field, and you need to communicate to your teammates, and it just made me into an overall better person.
In order to win a game, or in order to play the game satisfactory. So that's what I do in like classroom situations as well. I'll think of like different ways to get around maybe a question, or to answer a question differently than someone had already done, so that way it's different and it's more unique in that way.
People that know me when we play sports, even in class, I'm very competitive. I'm fair. I'm not going to play dirty, but I'm going to be really competitive. And so for me, that competitive nature was there, and I just liked having that self-discipline and doing something after school. It just excelled me to achieve, not just on the football field or in the wrestling room, but also academic. So if I was in a classroom, I was really competitive with test scores and making sure for my grades and everything. So that just that competitive nature was there.
Because you have to obviously have practice to get better, and that's like everything, like even your work. Like you don't just become a mathematician, you have to like practice. There's like, you're building up to it, like you're building your muscles to get better. It's the same with English or science, or you're building those building blocks so that you're better academically or in sports, or even your social skills, which comes through teamwork, comes through leadership, comes through planning projects and doing things.
So it really taught me to have determination and those type of things, which you could apply to every other part of your life. So when it comes to school, when something's tough, you don't just give up and quit. You keep playing it and you keep going at it until you accomplish your goals. It's really taught me to persevere in life and continue, even when things are hard, to try your hardest and continue.
Because I believe in good work ethic, good sportsmanship, teamwork, and your ability to work hard for something that you want.
Everyday life in sports, my philosophy, in college I learned a great phrase, and it's called make it a great day. You never have a great day, you have to make the choice when you wake up to make it a great day. You can only control certain things, like in sports I can't control what a referee does or what another team does, but I can control what I do. So in my everyday life I can only control some things, but I take the steps necessary to control what I can do. I go to improve on everything that I do. Feedback is important, and I just think, I focus on the journey. I look at the day and I just say, well, how is this day going to pan out? And I focus on from the minute I wake up till I go to bed. I just don't look at the end result. And in sports, I think that's a huge thing. Focusing on practice, pre-practice, at practice, after practice, and then the game. And that's just a very big thing and a life lesson that you want to focus on the journey, not the end result.
I think sports is good because it teaches them teamwork and collaboration, which are similar things that they're also learning in leadership class.
You shouldn't give up and just quit. Some people, when something becomes hard, they just give up. And sports by participating in sports, you learn how to fight through things, even if it's going rough for you. And so, my philosophy would be, if you're going through hard times, you just need to find a way to get through them. Even if it seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there is, especially for younger people, you have a lot of time on your hands ahead of you. You have your whole life ahead of you to really overcome these obstacles. So don't get down on yourself. If something's not going your way, you can always overcome those obstacles. And sports is one of the things that's taught me that.
So playing sports has given me a very competitive edge, but it's also taught me a lot about teamwork and working with others, and also working so that not only I can achieve my best, but everyone else around me can. And it's helped me with school and college and my classes, because I always want to do the best that I could do, and it definitely has driven me through high school and the IB program as well.
I actually came here to Townsend High and seen a lot of new arrivals, folks from other countries, from Latin America or people from Portugal, and all of a sudden being included because of the sports factor is that all of a sudden they were being included in some team, and basically gave them a large extent also they adapted much better also just to the whole school environment, the spirit of the school, what was going on in the school. So to a large extent, and that also helped out in language development as well. Being a new arrival and you want to communicate, you're going to find ways to communicate, and sometimes through the field. And I've also seen even hybrids of different languages, of like Portuguese and Spanish kind of mixed in on the soccer field. So we see a lot of different ways how people basically get included because of sports. Regardless of what community they came from the past, they are now included in this new community that they're a part of.
I was at Christmas in the Park during Christmas, yeah. So I met this pauper. He looked like this famous dancer I know, Philip Shabib. So I just walked up to him. He said he was a dancer and does the same style of dance I do. So we actually battled that night, me and him, and he was really good. So I tried to get like his information, see if we can meet up again, but it didn't really happen. So,
like for example, I met some guy from Del Mar who also does cross country, and he and then once I came to my soccer season and I was on JV soccer, I also saw him, and then we became friends. And then he also does track, and then like we became friends. He told me what events he did for track, what position he played for soccer, and his times and everything. And yeah,
I was able to earn that respect that I really appreciate actually, and it helped me as a person to grow, because having respect from people around you, and they look up to you, it feels good to have that, and it's a motivation for you to do better and better, not only in sports but in school as well. People are respecting you, so you got to give them that respect back, and when they look up to you, you got to be the great role model that you want to be, basically. And yeah, it's helped me out. Not only that, I've also became more responsible, because I'm able to manage my time within my sports, my schooling, my homework, and even having a job. So putting that all together, it just made me more responsible.